tell them, check out the blog, bro. YouTube channel called MKO. It's Pugilism, boxing algorithm. M stand for Marvin and Kevin's initials KO. Yeah, go tell. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is MKO Pugilism boxing channel, talking all things boxing. And right now, this is just a brief one. I'm gonna talk to you briefly about Chris Eubank Jr., who has again been talking spicy, you know, been talking a lot about, and the latest one now is on Triple G, Gennady Gennadievich Golovkin, one of the most fearsome punchers we've had in recent history. And Eubank has been talking about he wants Triple G, you know, that saying he knows he would take Golovkin out. He knows. Eubank feels say he knows he can get Triple G out of there. He believes he'll not only beat him, but he says he'll beat him in style. He'll take him out. And this is a fight that I think is far-fetched in terms of actually being able to happen right now. This is a fight where I personally, it would be a big shock to me if we saw this fight happen anytime soon. I mean, with Golovkin, he's certainly one of the most exciting fighters, and certainly Golovkin is one of the best fighters of certainly the past decade or so. You know, he's been brilliant. He's been brilliant. Only come up short against arguably pound for pound #1 guy. I mean, you could argue that Saul Canelo Alvarez could be pound for pound #1, and he's the only guy where Golovkin has really come up short. The recent fight, Derevyanchenko, he sort of come up short there as well. You know, with that fight, I believe you could definitely give that to Derevyanchenko, but that's the only time where that and sort of the Canelo fights are the only times where you've seen Golovkin look a bit human. And I suppose Danny Jacobs, there's been a few times where, okay, we've seen a bit of vulnerability, we've seen he can be outboxed a bit. So he's I believe he's getting up there in age now, Golovkin. And although I think I would still slightly favor Golovkin over Eubank, I do think, in spite of that, I do think that if Eubank was ever gonna beat Gennady Golovkin, I believe now would be the time. You know, 4 years ago, there was a breakdown in negotiations. Apparently, Eubank Sr. was demanding certain money for his son, and the money was not enough that the Golovkin people were offering. So this was the issue in the breakdown in communication, in negotiation for my son. You see, he deserves much more money. Anyway, that's my little impression over with. Bit of an outburst there. But yeah, so yeah, back then, I guess 2016, negotiations broke down between the Golovkin and Eubank teams, and that's actually part of the reason why Kell Brook, you know, good old Kell Brook and them chocolate brownies, you know, he went on to box Golovkin instead of Eubank. That could have been Eubank in there that day. I wouldn't fancy Eubank to win that one. I don't think he would have done. But anyway, right now, 2020, you know, when this all clears, I think this could be, if Eubank could get hold of him, I guess end of 2020, maybe sometime in 2021, I think Eubank has a much better chance now than ever, really. I think if Eubank's ever gonna beat Triple G, it will be now. You know, it will be now, you know, end of 2020, sometime in 2021. I think this would be the time, the only sort of time when he could beat him. I think he's because with Eubank, I think he's technically decent. His best wins are normally against come forward, aggressive guys that push him back, and that's when he thrives, and that's when he can rattle off his 20 uppercuts at a time, just da 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 da. That's where he can rattle off his combinations, and he really is at his best. When you come at Eubank Jr., that's really when he's at his best. That's when his sort of skills come to light. You know, he's kind of a messy guy on the front foot, as we saw against George Groves, where he was sort of diving in with big swings against Groves, when Groves sort of sat on the back foot and allowed Eubank to come towards him. Eubank wasn't very good on the front foot that night, so I think the sort of style of Golovkin, the come forward style, the fact that Golovkin is quite hittable, will definitely favor Eubank. The fact that Golovkin is a guy that, although he's technically sound, technically good, he is easy to hit. He can be hit, you know, so he's a guy that Eubank, I mean, I'd still consider him an outsider. Because of the pedigree of Golovkin, I'd consider Golovkin the favorite, but I think Eubank has definitely evened up his chances now, and if he could, you know, get Golovkin coming in and rattle off combinations, he could do some damage on Golovkin. He's not a massive puncher, is Eubank. He's a decent puncher. He can punch hard enough to get your respect, you know, but he's not like a Canelo or one of these guys that can really turn your lights out. You know, he punches hard enough to sort of just get your respect, and it's respectable power, but it's not really anything to write home about. So I'd say, yeah, Eubank Jr. now, at this stage in his career, he needs a big fight. He needs to get back in the ring. These are his peak years. So I'd say, yeah, right now, glad to hear him talking. Glad to hear him talking spicy. Glad to hear him, you know, looking to go at Golovkin. And I know a lot of people sort of don't like Eubank, and, you know, because he does talk a lot. He does talk very confidently, and, you know, he talks himself up. But, you know, you need confidence in boxing. You need confidence in boxing. You need to have that confidence in your ability, and you need to have that in order to win your fight. So I, for one, I would still favor Golovkin, but I think Eubank at this point, this juncture, has got at least a half decent chance of pulling off the win against Golovkin if he can get him into the ring. And me personally, I think it's a remote chance of Eubank being able to get Golovkin in the ring, especially after what happened to break down the negotiations. But I'm the type of person that, yeah, it would be a fireworks fight. So I'd be more than happy to see Eubank versus Golovkin. You know, we've talked about Triple G versus Canelo 3. Yeah, that would be a good fight. Would be probably a great fight again. But I think we've seen that twice, you know, and it's you're not going to learn anything new. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of fresh blood in Eubank versus Golovkin. Guaranteed fireworks. But again, this is all hypothetical. This is just from an article with where Eubank was interviewed. So it's just hypothetical. But, you know, if it happens, you know, I'd like to hear from even you guys. You know, who do you reckon would win this fight? Anyway, that's it for this one. MKO Pugilism, over and out.